Welcome to our podcast on Acing Your Dean interview. Today we have a distinguished medical professional with us. Let's dive right in.
Can you tell us a bit about your background? Absolutely. I am a medical professional with over 20 years of experience in clinical practice, medical education, and academic administration. I hold an MBBS from the University of Delhi and a postgraduate degree in internal medicine. Impressive. What leadership roles have you held? I've served in various leadership roles, including head of department and medical superintendent. What drives your career? My career has been driven by a passion for advancing medical education and improving healthcare delivery, particularly in the Indian context where access to quality education and care remains a challenge. Why are you interested in the dean position at this institution? I am drawn to the role of dean at this esteemed institution because of its reputation for innovative teaching, research output, and community outreach. What do you hope to achieve in this role? My desire is to contribute to shaping the next generation of doctors while addressing local healthcare needs through strategic leadership.
Today, we're discussing the key qualities of a dean. What are the essential traits a dean should possess?
Firstly, a dean must embody leadership, vision, and integrity. They should have a deep understanding of medical education and healthcare systems to guide curriculum development and faculty growth.
What about interpersonal skills? How important are they?
Interpersonal skills are crucial. A dean needs strong interpersonal skills to foster collaboration among faculty, students, and external stakeholders like hospitals and regulatory bodies such as the National Medical Commission.
How does adaptability play a role in a dean's responsibilities?
Adaptability is crucial to navigate challenges like evolving medical standards, technological advancements, and resource constraints.
Lastly, what other qualities should a dean have?
Finally, a dean must be a problem solver, capable of balancing academic excellence with administrative efficiency, ensuring the institution meets its goals while maintaining a student-centric approach.
Welcome back to our podcast. Today we're speaking with a distinguished candidate for the dean position. Let's dive into their experience in leadership roles.
Over the past 25 years, I have held positions such as head of department, vice principal, and medical education unit coordinator, where I managed faculty recruitment, curriculum design.
That's impressive. Can you share a specific example of your leadership in these roles?
Certainly. As head of department, I successfully led the implementation of competency-based medical education as mandated by the NMC, ensuring faculty training and student assessment aligned with national standards.
That sounds like a significant achievement. What other responsibilities did you handle?
I also oversaw accreditation processes, securing approvals from regulatory bodies, and managed budgets to optimize resources for teaching and research.
How have these experiences prepared you for the role of dean?
These experiences have equipped me with the administrative acumen, regulatory knowledge, and leadership skills necessary to excel as a dean. I'm confident that my background will allow me to contribute effectively to the institution's growth and success.
Welcome back to our podcast on Acing Your Dean interview. Today we have a special guest who will share insights on handling challenges in an academic setting.
Can you tell us about a significant challenge you faced in your previous role and how you managed it? Absolutely. In my previous role as vice principal, I encountered a challenge when our institution faced a sudden faculty shortage due to unexpected resignations during the COVID-19 pandemic. That sounds like a tough situation. How did it impact your institution? This threatened our ability to deliver the curriculum effectively. What steps did you take to address this issue? I addressed this by quickly forming a task force to redistribute teaching responsibilities, leveraging online platforms for guest lectures from external experts, and initiating a rapid recruitment drive with incentives for qualified candidates. Did you collaborate with other departments or institutions during this time? Simultaneously, I collaborated with the hospital administration to ensure clinical training continued uninterrupted. How long did it take to stabilize the situation, and what were the outcomes? Within 3 months, we stabilized the situation, maintained academic quality, and even improved our student feedback scores. What did you learn from this experience? This taught me the importance of agility, teamwork, and proactive planning, skills I will bring to this role. Thank you for sharing your experience. These insights are invaluable for anyone preparing for a Dean interview.
Welcome back to our podcast. Today we have a special guest, a candidate for the Dean position at our esteemed medical college. Let's dive into their vision for the institution.
What is your vision for positioning this college as a leader in medical education and research in India? My vision is to position this college as a leader in medical education and research in India by focusing on 3 pillars: academic excellence, innovation, and community impact. How do you plan to enhance student learning within the CBME framework? I aim to strengthen our CBME framework by integrating advanced simulation-based training and digital tools to enhance student learning. What steps will you take to foster a research culture at the college? I plan to foster a research culture by establishing collaborations with national and international institutions, securing funding from agencies like the ICMR, and encouraging faculty and students to publish in high-impact journals. How do you envision addressing rural healthcare disparities? I envision expanding our outreach programs to address rural healthcare disparities, aligning with India's national health policy goals, and ensuring our graduates are equipped to serve diverse populations effectively.
Conflict resolution requires a structured yet empathetic approach.
How do you approach conflict resolution in an academic setting? I would begin by listening to all parties involved to understand their perspectives, ensuring they feel heard. Can you give an example of handling a specific conflict? For example, if a disagreement arises over resource allocation, I'd review data like departmental needs and budget constraints to make an informed decision. What steps do you take to mediate and find common ground? I'd mediate a discussion to find common ground, emphasizing the institution's goals, such as student welfare or academic quality, over individual interests. How do you ensure conflicts don't recur? If needed, I'd establish clear policies or committees to prevent recurrence. Can you share a success story from your previous role? In my previous role, I resolved a similar conflict by facilitating dialogue and implementing a transparent decision-making process, which restored harmony and improved collaboration.
Ensuring compliance with NMC standards is a priority.
How would you ensure compliance with NMC standards in your role? I would conduct regular audits of our curriculum against NMC guidelines, particularly focusing on CBME implementation, which emphasizes clinical skills, ethics, and communication. What steps would you take to train the faculty? I'd establish a medical education unit to train faculty in modern teaching methodologies like flipped classrooms and case-based learning. How would you incorporate feedback into your strategy? Additionally, I'd integrate feedback from students and external examiners to identify gaps and introduce timely updates. Can you give an example of a specific initiative you would implement? For instance, I'd ensure early clinical exposure and AETCOM, attitude, ethics, and communication modules are robustly implemented, preparing students for both exams and real-world practice.
Welcome back to our podcast. Today we have a special guest discussing how technology is transforming medical education.
Can you share how you would leverage technology to enhance learning outcomes in medical education? Absolutely. I'd introduce virtual dissection tools and simulation labs for hands-on training in anatomy and surgery, addressing resource limitations like cadaver availability. That sounds innovative. What about theoretical subjects? Online platforms like Moodle or virtual classrooms can facilitate blended learning, especially for theoretical subjects. Interesting. How do you see AI fitting into this? I'd explore AI-driven diagnostic tools to teach students precision in clinical decision-making. Lastly, any experience with telemedicine? In my previous role, I implemented a telemedicine training module, which improved students' exposure to remote patient care, a skill increasingly vital in India's diverse healthcare landscape.
Faculty development is key to institutional success.
What strategies would you implement for faculty development? I'd establish a faculty development program focusing on pedagogy, research, and clinical skills, with workshops led by experts in medical education. How would you encourage faculty to participate in these programs? I'd encourage participation in national conferences like those organized by the Medical Council of India. Are there any incentives for faculty to pursue further development? Yes, I'd offer incentives like funding or sabbaticals for international certifications. What about mentorship opportunities? Additionally, I'd create a mentorship system pairing junior faculty with senior members to foster growth. Can you share an example of a successful program you've implemented? In my last role, I initiated a similar program, resulting in a 30% increase in faculty research publications within 2 years.
Today, we're discussing how to effectively address student grievances with our dean candidate.
Can you share your approach to handling student grievances? Absolutely. Addressing student grievances requires transparency and accessibility. I'd establish an open-door policy and a dedicated grievance committee comprising faculty and student representatives to ensure impartiality. Can you give an example of how you would handle a specific grievance, like exam scheduling issues? For example, if students raise concerns about exam scheduling, I'd investigate the issue, consult stakeholders, and adjust timelines if feasible, communicating the decision clearly. How do you plan to proactively gather student feedback? I'd conduct regular town hall meetings to proactively gather feedback. Can you share a past experience where you successfully resolved a student grievance? In a past instance, I resolved a hostile infrastructure complaint by coordinating with administration to expedite repairs, earning student trust and improving satisfaction.
Today, we're discussing accreditation and compliance with our guest.
How do you approach the accreditation process for institutions like medical colleges? Accreditation from bodies like the NMC or NAAC requires meticulous planning. I'd form a dedicated accreditation team to monitor compliance with infrastructure, faculty, and curriculum standards. What steps do you take to ensure everything is up to standard before an official visit? Regular mock inspections help identify and address deficiencies, be it lab equipment or student-teacher ratios, before official visits. How important is documentation in this process? I'd also maintain detailed documentation of academic and clinical activities. Can you share an example from your previous experience? In my previous role, I led an accreditation process that secured a 5-year renewal by addressing gaps in clinical training facilities ahead of the inspection. Interviewer: how do you approach budget management in an academic setting? Dean candidate: budget management involves prioritizing academic and clinical needs while optimizing resources. I'd conduct a thorough financial review to allocate funds efficiently. For example, investing in high-impact areas like simulation labs over less critical upgrades.
Interviewer: how would you secure additional funding?
Dean candidate: to secure additional funding, I'd pursue grants from government bodies like the Department of Health Research or private organizations, emphasizing our research and community service initiatives. I'd also explore alumni fundraising and public-private partnerships.
Interviewer: can you give an example of a successful funding initiative you've led?
Dean candidate: previously, I secured a substantial grant for a telemedicine project by presenting a compelling proposal to a state health department.
Welcome back to our podcast on Acing Your Dean interview. Today, we have a special guest discussing community health improvement.
How would you enhance community health initiatives at our medical college? I'd strengthen our outreach programs, such as free health camps and mobile clinics, targeting underserved rural areas around our college. How do you plan to involve students in these initiatives? I'd integrate community medicine into the curriculum, encouraging students to participate in public health initiatives like vaccination drives or disease awareness campaigns. What role do partnerships play in your strategy? Partnerships with local NGOs and government hospitals can amplify our impact. Can you share an example of a successful program you've led? In my last role, I launched a diabetes screening program that served over 5,000 patients, reducing local morbidity and enhancing our college's reputation.
India's healthcare challenges demand doctors who are versatile and socially aware.
How would you prepare medical students for diverse healthcare settings, especially in rural areas? I'd enhance rural postings in the MBBS curriculum, ensuring students gain hands-on experience in primary health centers. What specific courses or electives would you introduce to the curriculum? I'd introduce electives on tropical diseases, public health and telemedicine to equip them for diverse settings. How important is mentorship in this context? Mentorship from faculty with rural experience would provide practical insights. Can you share an example of a successful program you've implemented? Previously, I piloted a rural immersion program where students managed cases under supervision, significantly boosting their confidence and competence in resource-limited environments. Any final advice for our listeners?
Good luck.